Who's ready to see some arcs and sparks and some hot dogs getting cooked? Me. Good to hear. Well, to start off, I'm Matt, this is Andy, and this is Nick. We work with Lincoln Electric Systems right here in town of Lincoln. We also take care of about 200 square miles around the city of Lincoln and inside of Lincoln. We maintenance and build lines from 120 volts, which is in your house, all the way up to 345,000 volts. Today we're going to be doing a high voltage demonstration for you. The purpose of this demonstration is not to scare you, it is to educate you. Now, first thing we're going to do, who can tell me, is this line energized? Does anybody know what energized means? I'm going to use a couple different, what's energized mean?
Like power?
Power is flowing through it. I'm going to use a couple different words, energized or hot. When I tell these guys the trailer is hot, that means electricity is flowing through this overhead power line. This is exactly what you'd see out around town, just a scaled down version. So, Andy, I'm going to go ahead and, you want to meter that? Okay guys, the trailer is coming hot. Okay, does anybody think this line's energized right now or hot? No. No? Andy or Nick, will you show them? Now what Nick has right there is an audible voltage sensor. As a lineman, we use that to go up to a power line and test it to make sure that there's either power on it or not, because we actually have to do work on these. Now Andy, will you show them another way that you can tell us energized? Trailer's coming hot. So as you can see, it may look harmless, but it is dangerous. Now, the way this trailer works is up on the hill, we have a transformer just like this. You may see these in your backyard. Comes out of that transformer at 240 volts, follows this extension cord, where on the back of my trailer I have a switch box. And when I hit this button, it turns the switch on, comes in the bottom side of this transformer where it's converted back up to 7,200 volts, where it travels across, down, and turns my light bulb on. The light is on, you have 7,200 volts up there. So remember that. Now also up on that line, I don't know if you noticed, but there's an orange piece of rubber. That's part of our protective devices we use when we work on the power lines. So when I hit this button, I'm going to energize the trailer. Andy, will you go ahead and touch that gut for me? As you can see, there's no arc until Andy slides off of it. So, one of our pieces of protective equipment. A big thing I've seen in Lincoln and surrounding Lincoln is we have a lot of trees that like to grow into our power lines. Now, a lot of times they just sit up there and they don't do much. Okay, well, I think they're about ready. Okay, trailer's coming hot, guys. Now, can you hear that? It's actually just sitting up there smoldering. Now, a lot of times, it'll just sit there up and smolder, and a lot of times it'll actually burn in the clear, which I mean by burn in the clear, it'll burn through and it'll just fall to the ground, not causing any problems. But if it doesn't do that, or something else causes a problem, we have what we call a fuse cutout. Now, Andy's going to actually throw this in for you. This works. Anybody know what a breaker is in your house? What's a breaker?
It controls all the electricity in the house.
Yep, so if something goes wrong, it shuts off. Well, that's kind of what we have up here. So if you'll watch this right here, this is what happens if something goes bad. It actually blows the little link inside of it and swings open. Now, as a lineman, if I see that, I know I have a problem. Now there's a couple other things that can cause this. Either, let's say a squirrel crawls up on top of that transformer and reaches up and touches the power line, it'll blow the fuse, or if a car hits a power pole and the power lines fall to the ground, it'll blow the fuse, hopefully. Or even if a contractor or a homeowner's digging in their backyards and they accidentally dig down and hit one of these, This is pretty much the same thing you see up there. This just actually goes underground. As you can see, it's got aluminum in the middle and copper on the outside. This is an underground primary cable. This actually can handle 7,200 volts. And this actually can handle 115,000 volts. Okay, next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna pull another arc. This is what we call a fuse arc. Okay, trailer ready to go, guys? Trailer's coming hot. Ooh. One more. Now, can you see that wind is actually pushing that arc? It'll actually push it. Does anybody know how hot that is? Anyone want to take a guess? 1,000 degrees? What do you think it is? A million degrees? It's actually hotter than the surface of the sun. It's about 54,000 degrees. It's hot. Does anybody know how fast electricity travels? Who has an answer to question? Or do you want to try?
Very, very, very fast.
Very, very, very fast. Anybody else have a guess? 1,000 miles per hour? It actually travels 186,000 miles per second. That can go around the world 8.5 times in 1 second. Thank you. Now, a lot of times, people don't like being without power. We rely on power day in and day out. It heats our homes, it cools our homes, it helps us cook our food, video games, TV, pretty much everything we rely on nowadays, we use electricity. People are so reliant on it, they do silly things like this. As you can see, this extension cord has 2 male ends. This is what I call a suicide cord, aka lineman killer. Now earlier, when I was describing how this trailer works, a transformer doesn't care where it gets its voltage from. It can come in the high side at 7,200 volts and convert it down to 120, 240 volts. Also, if you can run 120 volts into the bottom side, it converts it right back up. That little generator is powering that overhead line. And to prove it, I got 2 ways of testing it today. We're going to use that audible meter again, which we showed you earlier. There it goes. It's doing a self-test, telling us that it is working. Hear it beeping? Means it's hot. And Nick, will you show them the other way we like to do it just on this demonstration? As you can see, it's still enough to pull an arc. It may not be as big, but like I said, it takes less than 1 amp for 1 second to kill a person. So if I hear a generator run and we have a big storm, I'm very nervous. So we actually have a couple things to help protect us. I have my rubber gloves. These are rated to about 1,000 volts, so I can work on lower voltages. What Andy and Nick are wearing are high voltage gloves and sleeves. They can actually go up and work on those power lines, as we call it, barehanded. So they actually can go up and grab that line. They can actually touch 13,000 volts, I believe. Another thing, Nick is installing a personal protective ground. And what that does is if somebody accidentally comes in and throws in a fuse or a switch or starts up a generator, it's designed to help protect me, because electricity is always looking for the easiest path to ground. But it will follow every path to ground. Okay, we ready to do the next one? Okay, now what they're doing is they shut the power off to the trailer and they put the ground on. They're actually going to go up and work on that now. So while they're doing that, I got a couple little things down here. Now, you remember how I was talking earlier about somebody digging in their backyard? If you ever see something like this, caution. There's multiple different colors. There's red, yellow, I think there's some green out there. If you see this, that means there's either a power line or telephone line or something below ground. So if you see that, stop digging. Also, as we were showing you a little bit earlier, these are the same thing I have on underneath, But these gloves are very sensitive. All it takes is one pinhole to be ruined. I don't know if you guys can see that. You see that hole in the tip? Mm-hmm. We actually did a little experiment a couple weeks ago. This just had a little pinhole in it, and we went up and touched the power line with it. You see it blew the hole out, or blew the tip of the finger out? So one little pinhole is all it takes. Okay, you ready to rock? Okay, who out here likes to fly kites? I love flying kites. My daughter loves flying kites. Who thinks 7,200 volts can flow through that little kite string? You think so? Okay, if that light turns on, that means it'll flow through it. Okay, you ready to rock? Okay, trailer's coming hot. Now when that light bulb turns on, that signified the trailer was energized at 7,200 volts, and it eventually burns in the clear. I'm gonna go ahead and de-energize the trailer. So, does anybody know what to do if your kite starts flying towards the power line? What do you do? Let it go. Mom and Dad can get you a new kite. They can't get a new one of you. So best thing to do, let it go. For starters, don't fly a kite near power lines. Okay, well while Nick's doing that, I got a couple other things we can talk about. Now, who's ever seen something like this? And this was actually this was actually what we call a service. This would go to your house, 120 to 140 volts. The tree actually grew around it, and the customer eventually called us in, and we actually came out here, cut it out, and spliced in a new chunk. But it was still working. A couple other things we have. This is some overhead line we have. This is what you see up in the air. We got a couple things over here. This is just an area where we practice working. Oh, you guys ready to play again? Okay. Sounds good. Oops, excuse me. Okay. Now, the next thing. Remember how earlier I said cars hit power poles sometimes? Do you know what to do if you ever have a power line laying on your car? Anybody want to take a guess?
Get out of it.
Get out of it?
Don't touch anything metal.
Don't touch anything metal. Anybody else want to take a guess? Stay in the car. Best thing to do is stay in the car. The reason for that is, have you ever seen a bird on a wire? The electricity is actually going to flow around the outside of the car. So as long as you're inside, you're safe. Now people say, well, my car has rubber tires. I should be safe, right? If I go out and touch the car? Well, I tell you what, let's do a little experiment. I'm going to energize this trailer real quick. Now these are rubber tires, just like every car has. Trailer's hot. Whoops. You hear that? Inside that tire, there's steel belts. Now I've had people tell me, well, you have rubber gloves on and you have skin right underneath your rubber gloves. Why can you go up there and touch it? Well, our gloves are manufactured very special. They're very pure and they're tested. We test our gloves every time we use them. Then every 3 months or so, we send them into the manufacturer. They test them. Now, I've had people tell me, well, I can get out of the car. I got rubber boots and shoes on. I'll be fine, right? Andy, let's do another little experiment. Anybody think anything will happen? Think something will happen? Okay, trailer's coming on. Oh, is the shoe gonna make me a lot? Whoa, no it didn't. Same thing. That rubber on those shoes do not protect you. So, Andy, we go ahead and ground the trailer for me, please?
Power off.
Power is off. So the best thing to do is stay in the car. Does anybody know how to get out of the car if you have to, if it's life or death? Let's say the car catches on fire. Do you know, is there a special way to get out of the car?
Well, just break the window.
Break the window? Okay, so then once you get the window broke, what do you do next?
Jump out.
Jump out?
And
Oh. Go get someone to help. Anybody else? There is one thing. There is a special way to get out of the car. Okay, trailer's grounded. Now, you remember how I told you earlier that electricity is always trying to find a path to ground. So let's imagine this is my car. I get out of my car, I put my foot down like this. Will I be okay? Yeah? No? This whole car is what I call energized. It's gonna travel through me, down my leg to the ground. Because it's always trying to find a path. So people say, okay, well, I'll jump out of the car and I won't touch it. So I push myself away without touching the car. Am I okay now? See how my feet are? Imagine electricity like a ripple in the pond. You throw a rock in a pond, you know how it ripples it out? At the beginning, let's say you have, it's called step potential before I go too far. Let's say this ripple starts right here and works its way out. I have 7,000 volts here, 6,000, 5,000, 4,000, so on and so forth. Now, if I'm stepping like this, electricity is going to flow up one leg and down the other because it's always trying to find a path. So, the way I say to do it is when you push yourself away from the car, land with your feet together. Now you can either hop or you can shuffle, keeping your feet together. And I say either, if you don't remember how far to go, hop or shuffle till you can't shuffle no more. I say probably about 500 feet is safe. But when in doubt, go as far as you can. Okay, any questions on that? Okay, now we're gonna do a little 120. But while they're setting up for this next one, does anybody know who to call if you ever see a power line on the ground? 911, exactly. 911 has a phone that connects straight to our dispatch. We got a little red phone in there that all they gotta do is pick up on it. Now, what do you do if you see a power line laying on the ground? You go up to it? No. Go find an adult, go find your parents, and stay away from it. It may not look like it's energized, but sometimes those fuses don't work, and they'll actually lay on the ground energized. Okay, you ready to make some more sparks? Yep. Okay, now in your house, you have 240 volts. That will feed your ovens and your dryers and a couple bigger appliances. Now this is what 240 volts look like without a breaker. Okay, trailer's coming hot. That's what you have in your house. And remember, it takes less than 1 amp for 1 second. Next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna cook a hot dog. The water content of the hot dog is as close as we can get to the water content of our body. It depends on how old you are. Some's about 70%. The younger you are, the more water you have in your body. Okay. Okay, Nick, you ready? Yep. Can you hear anything yet? Oh, there it goes. I'm gonna stand behind Andy because that thing likes to pop. I don't want to get hot dog all over me. Okay, trailer's de-energized. Now, the thing with electricity is it burns from the inside out. There we go. Does everybody like their hot dogs well done? Mm-hmm. So, the problem with that is, if you may start with just a little pinhole on your finger or maybe an elbow, but with it burning on the inside out, it will get worse. You need to seek medical attention right away. Now, one thing I forgot to mention earlier, with low voltage, if you'd go up to touch a power line barehanded, and you went to grab onto it like this, when you touch that, you will not be able to let go of that. The electricity will actually constrict the muscles in your hand so you can't let go. The best thing I say to do in that case, if you see somebody like this, is find the power source, the meter or the main, the light switch, extension cord, whatever they're touching, de-energize it. But if you can't find it, find help. Ready to cook a big one?
Let's do it.
Who wants to see a hot dog on primary voltage, which is 7,200 volts? I do. Okay, you ready, guys? Trailer's coming hot. Andy, you just want to go up there and touch it and I'll turn it on real quick? Hot dog's not cooperating real well. Most of the time it just blows the whole tip of it off. But the good thing about high voltage is you don't have to worry about going up there and grabbing, not being able to let go. It's gonna blow you right off. So that's not really a good thing though. But remember how hot I said that was? Hotter than the surface of the sun? Can you imagine what that could do to you? Biggest thing is, you see anything like that, stay away from it. Call 911. On behalf of the Lincoln Electric employees, I'd like to thank you for watching our show. Be safe, stay away from the power lines, and have a good one. Thank you.